Greetings, everybody. This is Ravana Noon, and today's topic will be archetypes, and do you understand them, and are you working with them? Some call them gods or goddesses. Archetypes are nothing more as what Carl Jung said, the collective unconscious creating metaphoric concepts which became known as gods or goddesses, and they encompass the greatest and lesser parts of ourselves in these gods or goddesses by giving them certain characteristics, abilities, powers, and things of that nature by the collective unconsciousness feeding and creating that archetype, god or goddess. And in time, what happened is many of us lost that connection to the reality that these are created metaphorical concepts and literally began to worship them as gods or goddesses. Thus taking the power or ability outside of ourselves and feeding it to something other than what we are or can be. On the left-hand path, we worship nothing or no one outside of ourselves. On the left-hand path, we are the god or the goddess. So what we do on the left-hand path is we created what is known as the deific mask, where we put on the mask of the archetype or god or goddess and embody the characteristics, attributes, personality, powers, whatever you want to call it, and manifest and embody that within ourselves. Meaning, if I am Set or Satukh, the Prince of Darkness, who by the way received that attribute as the Prince of Darkness because Heru was considered the Prince of Light. To balance that in Kemetic philosophy, there had to be a counterpart. The counterpart was Set or Satukh, which was the Prince of Darkness. Darkness has been synonymous with the duat or the underworld, also synonymous with your subconscious mind and the deeper, darker aspects of yourself that we tend not to deal with or hide or sweep under the rug and afraid to face ourselves in the most heinous, disgusting, or perverted parts of ourselves to the most beautiful, lovely, exciting parts of ourselves. When you put on the deific mask, what you're doing is you're encompassing and embodying those attributes, characteristics, personalities, and powers that Set Satukh has, and you are becoming Set Satukh by putting on the deific mask. What does that mean? Meaning when I put on the mask, I look out into the world, not as Ravana Noon, I look out into the world as Set Satukh, because Set Satukh has a connection within me, a latent power, a latent characteristic, an attribute that is naturally already there, and that deific mask helps to awaken that part of myself by me doing the ritual continuously and over as many times as necessary to bring that forth out of myself. In the process, what's happening is that archetype is opening certain centers, certain deeper pockets of your subconscious mind to confront parts of yourself that you refuse to sweep away or avoid altogether and deal with. So, for example, if I have an emotional issue or problem and I get very angry, especially road rage, when somebody cuts me off, especially here in Florida, you got a lot of idiot drivers who cut you off and come all the way from the left speed lane all the way over to the exit lane and try to cut all the way across in a matter of 2 seconds to get to the exit. That can bring an anger out of me. But working with Sekhmet, who is the goddess, is the archetype of emotions, specifically passion, anger, things of that nature, working through that archetype and going deep into my subconscious and understanding where this anger comes from, I now confronted it and understand through that archetype, through my subconscious, connecting to my collective unconscious and collective conscious, also connecting to my daemon or demon self, which is my supernatural, super genius, or highly intellectual self, which some like to call the higher self. I call the true self. When you say higher, you automatically bring duality of lower, and now we're back into this religious mentality. My true self, which encompasses all of that. It brings that forth, and I become that through working with Sekhmet, understanding my anger, understanding the communication from my true self, connecting through my sub and unconscious mind the answers necessary on what anger has been in my life, how it got there, and how I can master it and control it. So, for example, I also received a question from some people who said, oh, you have Kali behind you. You're into that Hindu shit and shit. Listen, no niggas. I'm not into Hindu anything. I'm into the left-hand path, black magic, vampire, sorcery, some aspects of voodoo, things of that nature. I don't worship shit. Kali's there because she's a representation of my feminine warrior side. Not feminine as in, oh, he's got that feminine energy, so he has that, he might have a little homosexual tendency. Bullshit. No, that's not why. When you go throughout history of time, the most powerful individuals, the most powerful warriors and warrioresses tended to be females. Not men all the time. Females. Kali was a warrior. Sekhmet was a warrior. Hecate was a goddess of the underworld and a warrior. Lilith was a vampire goddess and a warrior. I could go on and on and on, and they're ferocious, vicious, and don't hesitate to slice your head unless it's something that can be avoided. They will not hesitate. A man talks too much shit, pops off at the mouth before he throws any hands or whatever needs to be done. A female, Kali, would just slice your head off. But she also represents that destructive part of myself. Destruction can be utilized any way you want. It's just a force. And all forces are beneficial if you know how to work with it. Not one force is, oh, it's dark, so it's evil. Or this is light, so it's good. Or this is, no. All forces can be utilized to your benefit if you understand how. So the destructive part of Kali, how is that beneficial when I'm working with that archetype for myself? For example, Kali can be beneficial, that destructive part, to destroy the lazy part of myself that may manifest sometimes when I should be doing some work. I'm being lazy and playing video games and lounging and doing bullshit and making excuses. So that Kali energy, that archetype, that attribute, that characteristic, when I put that deific mask of Kali on, ain't no excuses, son. I'm just slicing my own bullshit, my own excuses, my own laziness. I'm destroying my fallacies and delusions and self-created delusions, and I'm getting rid of that shit to manifest and be more productive and powerful in the objective universe. So this is when you work with an archetype, this is how you best are suited to get more results and benefits from it. Not, oh, this is Kali, so I'm going to get a silver candle or this kind of candle. The candles are good because it's a focal point, and it's a focal point that can open the gateway. What I'm saying is that you get the candle, you put the fruits and the offerings, and you think that shit was just some magical, powerful ritual, and all the answers are going to come from that. Nah, son. You become Kali. Literally become Kali. And what that energy or archetype or god, goddess represents. You become that shit by taking on those characteristics that are already latent inside of you to be that shit. You become that powerful motherfucker. You become that powerful goddess. You become that powerful god. You don't make excuses for your life. You don't blame anybody. You don't point the finger at anybody. You take full responsibility. If I'm drawing negative bullshit into my life repetitively over and over and over, that's because that's already within me, and I'm not changing my subjective current, my subjective mind, to attract or become that magnet to bring something better into my life, or something that I feel that I need in my life, or that may be necessary. Not always need, because you don't always get what you need. You don't always get what you want. You get what you need, and what you need may not be what you necessarily think you want. It may not necessarily match the vision or the type of person you want, or the vision or the type of result you wanted. The result is exactly what it was, because that's what you needed, not what you wanted. So understand that. So when you work this shit, you don't make excuses for your life by pointing the finger at something outside yourself as if they really have power over you. You take total control of your life and you manifest it. You are responsible for your successes and your failures. You're responsible for the beautiful shit of yourself and the ugly shit. You don't point the finger at nothing or no one and say, well, that's pointless, or that's not beneficial. Everything in your life is beneficial. All forces and energy are beneficial. If we go into the subjective and collective unconscious and your personal unconscious mind and work that shit, you will connect to your true self and understand how everything's beneficial on this planet. This is why you're fucking here. You're not off somewhere in Disneyland or Disney World, off in some fantasy land. You're here dealing with everything in your life that comes in and out, because you open the door for that shit to come in and out. No one else. You can't blame the other motherfucker. What you can blame him for is their actions. Meaning, if you're in an abusive relationship as a female, you can blame him for his hands being put on you. But you can't blame him for being abusive when you opened the door for that abuse and saw his ass as that before you got with him, but got dick whipped or got pussy whipped and allowed the door to be open for that shit when you saw the fucking attributes and the characteristics, personality from the giddy up. What I mean by that? In the first 3 months that this nigga got obsessive, possessive, jealous, or something, angry, oh, you laughed it off as, oh, that's cute. He cares. He's so sexy. He cares about me, right? You laugh that shit off and you think it's cute and sexy. That shit, 9 months later to a year later, ain't so cute or sexy no more. It's obsessive, it's possessive, and it's controlling, and then you're going to get upset, and then his hands come on you. You saw those attributes. You saw those shits before. That's taking responsibility, but you can blame his ass for putting his hands on you, because nobody should put their hands on you, because you put your hands on the wrong person. That might be your life, son. So if you man enough or woman enough to put your hands on somebody, you best be man enough or woman enough to own up to your life may be taken at that moment. You got to understand these things when you're working with archetypes, gods and goddesses. You can't just say, well, I'm working with a god or goddess, and think that the god or goddess is going to do some miraculous results for you outside of yourself because you did a ritual and never ever understood that your deific mask should have been put on, and you should have had greater understanding before you did the ritual. So you did the ritual thinking a god or goddess was really doing it for you. No, you're doing it for yourself, and only you can do it for yourself. No one else can do this for you. This is what people are not understanding. There is no god or goddess who can do this for you. Only you can do this for yourself, because you are the god or goddess. On the left-hand path, you take responsibility. I'm going to repeat this again. You take responsibility for everything in your life, whether it's success or failure, whether it's beautiful or ugly, whether it's right or wrong, however you perceive it. You take total responsibility for that, and you don't blame nobody else. I don't blame the white man for shit for my existence. I am the master of my own existence, and no one can control me. When I was younger, I was into the whole Black Power, Puerto Rican Power Pro movement, the extreme red, black, and green, RBG, all that shit. I was into all that. I protested, I marched, I was at rallies, I was at the Million Man March. I did all that. And I realized through my journey, ain't the white man can do shit to me unless I open the door and give him or her the power to do it to me. Nothing. I've met with racism, police brutality, raised in Bronx, New York, and also living in Hartford, Connecticut. I was encountering police brutality, police fucking racial profiling. I was discriminated against because I'm Puerto Rican. I was discriminated against because I speak Spanish and English. I was discriminated against because my mom's side is more Taino side, Spaniard side, and my dad's side is more the African side. Okay? And they see me walking in with my mom and dad, and they look at me, and here we go. I've seen and experienced all that shit. But I couldn't make an excuse. That's other people's ignorance. It's not my ignorance. It's other people's problem. It's not my problem. It's not my issues. The more I give life to that shit, the more I become that shit. So what I'm saying is the more I make excuses for white supremacy and really think it has power over me, the more I let it have power over me. So when I woke up to that reality that I'm the God over my world, my life, and my situation, and nothing can control me but me, not no white man, not no other man, none of that shit can control me, I started to succeed. I started to elevate financially, mentally, spiritually, you name it, I got success more and more and more. But just because I got success doesn't mean I'm not going to encounter failures. That's not how this shit works. You're still going to encounter failures. You're still going to encounter chaos. You're still going to encounter dumb shit, bullshit in your life because it's necessary. It's necessary because when the chaos comes, it's necessary because you're stagnant. You're stagnant because you think you're doing some hot shit, great shit, but all you're doing is being fluffy and loving and caring to the extreme, and you're not fucking facing yourself. So the chaos comes for you really to face yourself and see the parts of yourself that you're laying dormant and not focusing on, not waking up and not confronting. So when you work this shit, you can't work this shit from the aspect of, oh, damn, Kylie came to me and, Kylie said that, I am a living oracle and that I have to give you messages, or Oshun came to me and said that I'm the love goddess, so my pussy's the hottest shit and my pussy just fucking has fluids of honey and you can't avoid but tasting my honey. Get the fuck out of here. I done heard all that shit. I done heard it all, experienced it all, tasted it all. Fuck that bullshit. That shit is not real, dude. Okay? It's in your mind you think your shit is honey. That's not honey. Okay? That's not what a shun is coming to you for. What I mean by coming to you is this. When you get a fucking... Okay, let's say you're working with Baron Samedi. Okay? You're working with Baron Samedi, working with the gay, working with the death current, the living, the sex current. You're working with that shit. Day and night, you're working with that shit. All of a sudden, Lilith comes to you. Yeah. You may think, well, what the fuck is Lilith coming to me for? That has nothing to do with the African power, African, energy. But it's not about race, nationality, or tradition when you work this shit. It's about what your fucking subconscious mind is trying to connect you to because you're deficient in that area. So let's say I'm working with Baron Samedi and I'm working on the death aspect, death ritual, death energy. Lilith comes to me. And what I mean comes to you is like a vision, a symbol, or something crosses your mind, comes into your mind. She comes in, and all of a sudden I'm thrown off because, damn, I'm going from Baron Samedi to Lilith. Well, see, that's why you got to study, and that's why you got to work confronting yourself, going deep within yourself, because then you'll understand that they're all related energies. Lilith represents lust and power and sex. Lilith represents death as well. Baron Samedi represents sex and death and power as well. So it's necessary. But what Lilith is representing is that you're being a pussy and letting your shit get ran over. Lilith is bringing that feminine warrior side to yourself, saying stop taking the bullshit. Start absorbing the energy of these fucking people that are trying to absorb and suck you dry. Start sucking them dry. And you're laying dormant your sexual powers and abilities and being fruity and fluffy and not doing shit about it. So Lilith comes to you. Lilith didn't come to you because you're great. Lilith didn't come to you because I'm a love goddess and I'm so fucking lovely and I'm a lustful being and I'm so hot shit. And, that's why she's there. You understand? That's why she's there. No, she came to you because you're deficient in areas that her attributes, characteristics, or personalities represent. So you should focus on why Lilith is there and say, shit, that shit came to me because I'm deficient in this area. So I need to focus on that shit, work some rituals to tap into my subconscious as to why that shit is not there. Then activate that power to give me the necessary striving and ability to get there. Lilith ain't doing shit for you, son. You're doing it. But you're using the archetype and the energy and that whole concept, metaphorical concept, to activate that part of yourself that is symbolic of Lilith. So that's when the archetypes or God's goddess or energy, when you see them come to you, that's why they're coming to you. Because it's something you're deficient in and lacking in, not focusing on, not because that's your hot shit like they are or what they represent. Nah, Oshun didn't come to you because you're the love goddess, nigga. Oshun came to you because you're fucking deficient in love, or deficient in sex, or deficient in motherhood, or deficient in one of those areas, and you need to pay attention to that shit about yourself. That's why that shit is there. So when you wear that deific mask over and over, you become that shit, and you start to understand, your subconscious mind starts to rework itself, rewire itself, and you start to attract the new shit and new level of magnetic vibration and frequency you have in your life. So when you work it from that reality. Not the reality I'm some fucking great guru, some great fucking tantric master, and your shit is all fucked up around you. You can't pay your rent, you can't pay your bills, you can't pay none of that shit, but you working some shit. You ain't working shit, nigga. You working what you want. And you keep focusing on what you want, and you're not working on what you need. And what is manifesting is what you need. What is coming into your life is what you need to focus on, to work on. But nah, we want to think we're hot shit. I'm special. This isn't how things work in my life. I'm special. You're not special. You're just like everybody else who perceives yourself to be special. What makes you special is the works that you do. What do you do with that? What do you do with that power, latent gifts and abilities within yourself? That's what makes you special. Now, well, I don't understand it like that. So, I'm special because I don't understand it the way you understand it. It's not about me understanding. It's about the result. When you speak and you've done these lectures and teach for 25 years, you start to see the results and the non-results, and you start to see what is working and what is not working for people because you've gone through it for over 25 years, and now you see it in other people who are now starting in the middle or somewhere towards the end. You figure this shit out. You figure that shit out. I don't do videos all the time because I'm too busy working on myself. If I'm on fucking YouTube making a video every day, what fucking life do I have? Nigga, do you work? Nigga, do you fucking pay bills? Or are you just wasting your time on YouTube? Now, I understand if you're getting paid through YouTube, that's a different story. But I don't depend on YouTube for finances. I have my own finances through my own hard work and my own business. If I start making money through YouTube, that's just lovely. That's additional benefit. But if something goes wrong with YouTube, this shit shuts down, I still can be lovely. Can you still be lovely if YouTube ain't popping off? That's the question you got to ask yourself, son. I will still be lovely without this because the work I do, the rituals I do, I change my subjective wiring to attract and be a magnet for what is needed in my life. Not just what I want, but for what is necessary and needed in my life. So when I work that, I come from that reality. Another note. You can't go around just fucking destroying everybody and doing all nothing but rituals for curses and all that shit. Because there's a time for cursing and there's a time for healing. You got to learn how to work with the energy. After all, everything is just vibrations, frequencies, and energy. And everything is the varying degrees of the same thing. So what you think is good energy or bad energy is the same shit. They're just varying degrees of the same thing, and it's how you perceive it that allows you to either benefit working that shit to its greatest degree or not benefit from it because you're looking at it as religious or controlling or limited perspective. It's all up to you how you work. It's all up to you what you do with it and how you do it. Because the more religious you are, the more limited and controlling and bound you are. Understand that shit. If you think that you have to be abstinent for 20 years and you ain't getting no dick in your life, sister, or brother, you ain't getting no pussy in your life, you don't get it yet. You don't get it because you're still thinking that it's worldly things and I'm beyond this world. You're not. You're still fucking living here. If you're beyond this world, why are you fucking still living here? Why are you still having to pay bills? Why are you still fucking having to eat, sleep, breathe shit? Why you need clothes or anything else? You're still here, so that means you're still subjected to living here, so you better master this shit while you're here. Not master as I'm above all these things and these things don't affect me. You ain't getting it. You're here to experience life in all of its extremes. Good, bad, ugly, and beautiful. Avoiding any part of that is avoiding you becoming a whole, total, or 360 being. Okay? You're avoiding that part of yourself. So when you work with the archetypes, you are that archetype. You become that. You embody the mask, power, and the spirit. And nothing can take that away from you. Because it is you who's working the rituals. It is you who's creating the ritual. And it is you who's manifesting the results by restructuring and reworking and rewiring your subconscious mind from your programming and your conditioning. This is what I work with. I'm not going to talk about Orisha. I bring it up every so often. I'm not going to talk about shit like that. That's some fluffy light side shit for me. I deal with darker shit because it's the darker parts of ourselves that needs to be awakened. That doesn't mean I won't work with a SAR. But when I work with the SAR, I'm not working with the fluffy, loving, eternal life of SAR. I'm working with the SAR in the underworld that represents my subconscious mind. Okay? Understand the difference. I'm going deeper and darker to myself because that's the parts we bury deep within, sweep under the rug and never deal with. And this is why the world's fucked up today, because people don't deal with their shit because they're always told, oh, you can't be angry. Oh, you can't be this. You can't be that. So if I can never be it, I can never understand it. If I never understand it, I will never master it. So this is why people are out of order today. Nah, I confront all that shit about myself. Good, bad, ugly, beautiful. From the heinous, disgusting to the lovely and beautiful. I deal with all that shit. But I'm not going to sit here and talk to you about Oshun and fucking, Yamaya and shit like that. Did it, done it, been there, done that. It's a religion. It's become a religion. It's a tradition that's watered down and superstitious and controlling. I don't believe in none of the gods or goddesses. I don't believe Yamaya, Oshun, none of that shit, Shango, Batala are real. I represent the metaphors of what they are, and I encompass and embody that within my life, and I am Obatala. But am I your spooky Obatala who creates life and does all? Fuck that bullshit. No. I'm Obatala in my characteristics, my attributes, and the way I carry and conduct myself. In that respect, yeah, I understand that shit. But no, I don't work that Orisha shit and all that shit. Been there, done it. I work deeper, darker shit. Demons, fucking ferocious shit, because that's the part you don't deal with. That's the part you're not waking up, and that's the part you're not bringing to reality. That's the part that's fucking you up and controlling you and affecting your life today. Now, until we learn to wake that part up about ourselves and deal with that reality, we're always going to be subject to be enslaved or servants to somebody else because we think that somebody outside ourselves really has the power over us to control us. As long as I keep thinking God, Jesus, Jehovah, Yahweh, Allah can do something for me, I'm just laying there or bending over to get fucked up the ass without grease. As long as I realize that that shit is a metaphor and I am those things and I control my life, then I no longer am servant or slave to no one. I am the master over my life, and I control every part and every facet of my life. So to do a ritual, like let's say a ritual with Kali, get black and red candles, or just all black candles. Work it. You really want to work it. Get black candles, get a bunch of skulls, put Kali statue there, and meditate on the image of Kali. Meditate on the meaning of Kali. Meditate on what the attributes, metaphors, characteristics of Kali are. Then, in your ritual, put on the mask Kali. If you don't have a physical mask, you do a mask within your mind. You put on that mask and you say, I am Kali. I am the spirit of destruction. I am the spirit of chaos. I am the spirit of progression. I face myself and my destructive abilities and learn to take any part of those that are strengths and make them stronger, and any part of those abilities that are weak to make them a strength. I face my whatever it is, my anger, my emotion, my pain, my trauma, and I put it in front of myself to face myself and confront myself. You do that facing north, you do that facing west, you do that facing south, you do that facing east. You come back to the north and you repeat that one last time. Then sit there, meditate with the deific mask on Kali. Listen to what your true self is saying at that moment. Now that you tap to the deepest, darkest, most destructive parts of yourself, and jot it down when you're done. Close the ritual however you close it, and work it. That's how you do this. Work it. Don't be subjected as a slave or servant to it. You are the master over it. You created Kali, so Kali in essence is you. Not Kali was created or created you. You created Kali. It was the minds of men and women who created Kali. Kali didn't create us. And with that, I'm going to close this off. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can contact me on my new email address, which is darkoccultist99@outlook.com. Let me say that once again. darkoccultist99@outlook.com. Peace.